Hey guys and girls, and welcome to another pickup video. Alright guys, got a small amount today. I've got a few bits and pieces that I picked up over the last month or so, and I've got a small handful that I picked up from the MCM Expo that I went to on Sunday. All of you out there who also went, I hope you had a great time, and if you cosplayed, wow, it must have been so difficult for you getting around. Especially if you had some of the more bulkier cosplays. Anyway, yeah, as you can probably see, I'm actually holding the camera in my hand and I'm broadcasting live from the floor because, to be honest, I can't be asked to set up my tripod on my table. So anyway, first little lot is another batch of UMD films. Woo! Getting quite a few of these in recent times. So, okay, first film. Dun, 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 dun. I've only ever seen this once, and that was round a friend of mine's when the film first came out. It's not a bad film, but I constantly kept annoying my friend all the way through because it doesn't really interest me that much, the fact that the Rock's in it. I was more interested in the fact that it's got Dexter Fletcher in it. So, and every time he popped up on screen I was like, oh, it's Dexter Fletcher. Of course, anyone in the United Kingdom will remember Dexter Fletcher for being the temporary host of Series 3 of Games Master. So yeah, that's Doom. Second film, Alien vs Predator Requiem. I've not seen this yet, so it's probably not going to be as good as Alien vs Predator, which I didn't think was that bad. So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to watching that. Next up, we have The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I quite like this film, and I reckon they probably chose the right time to make it, if only because of this character here. If the camera will focus, and it's not going to. Oh, well, I tell a lie. If only because of this character, simply because of his two heads, because if I remember rightly in the old TV series, because his head, he has another head underneath his head, and whenever that head pops up, the other head pops back, and the other head appears in its place. But I think if I remember in the old TV series, they actually had two heads at the same time because they couldn't do the whole revolving head thing. So yeah, I quite like that. That's not a bad film. I haven't seen it in a while though. And last but not least, I've got a good look at this one quickly because the sticker's covering half of the title. Right, there we are. Right, here we are. Tombstone: The History of the Undertaker. Now, I've got to admit, I've not really been into the WWF for a very long time. The fact that I still called it WWF should be an indication of that. I've got to be honest, I think the last thing I ever watched of WWF was some point back in late 2002, give or take. That must have been roughly the last time I watched anything serious on WWF. But, you know, I've always been something of a fan of The Undertaker. Not a massive fan, but you know, he always provides a good show, does The Undertaker. So I got that because it was cheap, and I thought, why the hell not? And plus, what was it? What's it got on the back of it? I just remember now. It's got one of the iconic matches that most of us love. Undertaker versus Mankind at the King of the Ring 1998. The infamous Hell in a Cell match. Man, that was brutal. Even if it was staged. Okay, I've got a couple of games now. I have Crazy Taxi 3. I've actually had a demo of this for the longest time, that came with the official Xbox magazine. But I don't know. I can't remember what city's in it. I think it's actually the default city for Crazy Taxi 3. But I remember not being overly impressed with it. But you know, I was playing Crazy Taxi the other day. And I thought to myself, you know, I really should get a hold of Crazy Taxi 3. So I bought this, you know, £5 on Amazon. It wasn't that bad. And I didn't realise that it has the arcade cities from Crazy Taxi 1 and 2 well, included. So I was like, yeah, boy, it's like playing an improved version of Crazy Taxi with the hop and the multiple passengers. I was like, yeah, boy, I'm all about Crazy Taxi 3 now. I've got to admit, I'm not particularly fond of Crazy Taxi 3's own city. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called Glitter City or something like that. It's just like neon lights everywhere, and then it's just dull throughout the rest of the city. So yeah, I'm all about Crazy Taxi 1 City in Crazy Taxi 3. That's insane shit. I hate this camera. The battery life on it is a fucking joke. Anyway, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted by death of battery, you can see the cable now attached to the camera. And I've got to plug it in now, so anyway, what I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, the next the next lot I've got is now what I picked up from MCM Expo. So first thing, it's not a game, but it's actually a DVD, an actual proper DVD, so I thought I might as well show you it. It is Tekken Blood Vengeance. There we go. I've not seen this yet, but I have seen the original animated Tekken film, so I'm hoping this will probably be as good as, you know, considering it's like, you know, CGI, so all the characters look like what they're supposed to, and it's probably not going to be any worse than the actual Tekken film, but I've not seen that, so I'm not gonna pass judgment on that just yet. Okay, next lot. First up, we've got an absolute classic game for the Sega Mega Drive, Another World. I remember playing this on my, I think it was my uncle's Amiga. I can't remember, I think it was on the Amiga. And I remember really getting into it, but I never really got too far on it because I couldn't work out how to get past the first section, because you got that little beast at the beginning that chases you. And you got to avoid all the little snaky things that are crawling on the ground as well. So I never really got too far from that. So hopefully I can get a lot further in that game, because I know that Flashback is very similar to Another World. So hopefully the controls will transfer over. So with any luck. Okay. Next up, I've got a trio of Sega Saturn games. First one I got is Resident Evil. I don't buy many copies of Resident Evil, and I certainly don't own many English language versions of it. I think this may be my only. I think this may be my second only English language version of Resident Evil, and I've heard the Sega Saturn version is slightly different from the PlayStation version. And I've got to be honest, I would really like the idea of an English language Resident Evil in 60Hz, so my modified Sega Saturn hopefully will take care of that for me. Next up, I have Sonic 3D Flicky's Island. That's what we call it over here, Flicky's Island. We do not call it Sonic 3D Blast. Right? Cool. Anyway, yeah, I got this because I was rather... Actually no, I tell a lie, I've actually got the PC version, but I don't really play it, so I know that there's practically no difference between the Saturn version and the PC version. And believe it or not, I just got off, I think it was on Friday, I was actually watching Some Call Me Johnny's Month of Sonic, and I think if I remember rightly, Sonic 3D was one of the last ones on it, and he said if he was going to recommend the a version of Sonic 3D, to get the Sega Saturn version, so that's one reason why I got it. Yeah, other reason it's a version of a Sonic game that I don't own, so you know, it was reasonably priced as well, so I thought, fuck it, I'm going to buy it. Oh, slurpy slurpy tea. And lastly, this is the absolute last thing I've got, Earthworm Jim for the Sega Saturn. I don't know why I said for the Sega Saturn when I told you at the beginning that I had a trio of Sega Saturn games. Yeah, many of you will probably already be aware that I have the PlayStation version of this game, as well as the Mega Drive version, but the reason why I've got the Sega Saturn version is because A, it's the Sega Saturn version, and B, my PlayStation version, the disc is getting scratched up to buggery now. It's slowly becoming unplayable, and the store that I actually bought these 3 Sega Saturn games from, they actually clean their discs and they you know, freshen them up again, so it makes it look like that they haven't been played before, because the discs, the Sega Saturn discs, they're absolutely immaculate looking. It's fantastic. You know, you can't tell if nobody's played them or not, if they've been superbly cleaned. So yeah guys, that's my little haul for this time, so thanks for watching, and until then, take care of yourselves. Groovy! That was pretty bad.